EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to Las Vegas, Nevada. Today, it's Week 4, and we've got what should be a great one here between the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. A pair of 3-0 teams set to lock horns for the right to remain unbeaten, and we're off in Week 4. And the opening kickoff will not be returned, as that will be a touchback. They start the drive with Cook. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. Well, this defense for the Raiders, they were terrific in the win over Tennessee a week ago.
And the way they did it was by getting after the quarterback. Sacked him 7 times in that game. Came from all angles, created a lot of illusions, and especially just beat them man for man. That's the kind of defense that really frustrates an opponent.
Now whistles, and the Raiders are going to signal for a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. Throwing now is Rodgers. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down.
Against a team coming off a win, just as your team did the previous week, you talk about being physical all game long. Sometimes being physical is just being on the spot and helping force the incompletion.
Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. Points 1, 2, and 3 in their defensive game plan was to get to the quarterback and knock the ball free. They did it there. Luckily, offense hangs on to it.
Yeah, that's got to serve as a wake-up call, though, because they can't afford to let the ball go over to the defense and miss opportunities. And I'm not saying it happened here, but you know what?
And they're going to fake it from deep in their own territory. And he's not going to get to the marker. And that's a turnover on downs. I know, without even asking, without even looking in your direction, that you are not a fan of that call.
Oh, I wish you would look, Brandon, because I was actually thinking this would be the perfect time for a fake.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. This deep in your own territory. Look, I'm all for being unconventional. That part's cool, and I get it. But this deep, I just don't think it's the right time to make that call.
That one will go as a gain of 11. Raiders having a 1st down as well. Throwing now is Allen. That's complete to Slayton. And he'll be out of bounds. It's a really nice 15-yard pickup, and now it's 1st and goal.
That's a nice job of working his way open down in the red zone. Looked that one in and then made a beeline for the pylon. He didn't quite get there, and you wanted to give him a little extra for the effort, but instead he sets his guys up in excellent shape with a 1st and goal.
Mostert will score. Touchdown, Raiders. So good job there, Charles, taking advantage of the short field, and they score first, punching it in on the short touchdown run.
I love the theme there, right? They didn't have to do anything big on that drive. Took advantage of where they were on the field, took it downfield, put the ball in the end zone. The only thing big on that drive, the 6 on the scoreboard.
After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Now, early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally, because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated, because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice, but at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
At the 23, it's 2nd and 12. Throwing is Rodgers. The catch made by DeAndre Hopkins. And they're able to get this one across the 35. First catch of the game for Hopkins. It's a first down.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people. But you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Rodgers going to throw. Going deep for Hopkins. And incomplete on the deep ball.
Well, they certainly came out firing in this one, and while that one was incomplete, I can't imagine that'll be the last shot that they take in this game.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Here's Rodgers to throw. Into a sea of defenders and intercepted. It's Devin White, the linebacker. And the Raiders are going to take possession of the football. Well, he had to fit that into a pretty tight window over the middle. And, Charles, I think they were in zone defensively, weren't they?
They certainly were. Nice read on your part. And sometimes the quarterback isn't fooled between zone and man. Sometimes just fooled by the type of zone that he sees. Because oftentimes, those linebackers will vacate and run downfield with receivers. In this case, he played a pure zone and was in the wrong spot for the QB.
And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Charles, did I just hear that right? They declined the personal foul. 3 yards, they just declined them.
And I have to think that the official is thinking to himself, did I just hear that correctly, that you declined that one? All I can think of is that someone on the field got confused. Because it had to, because you're going to take the yards on that penalty each and every time.
Rolling to his left. And this is caught. Touchdown, Raiders. Devin Duvernay with touchdown number 12 on the year. And the Raiders are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. And we remember, of course, all scoring plays need to be verified upstairs. And I think they're going to at least take a look at this. So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review. So they had it right. Prater for the extra point. And that'll make the score 14-0. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. And this will not be returned. It'll come out to the 25. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Still in the first half, but this offense has struggled. Haven't really been able to get anything going, not only in the points category, but in the yards category. Let's see if they can do better here on this drive. Now a deep ball going to be caught here near midfield. And they work this well upfield across the 45. 23 yards on the play.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief coming from their sideline and from their point on the field, because this has been a tough start for them thus far. A much-needed first down there. They needed something good to happen. Plays like that will continue to help them dig out of this hole.
Rodgers throw here into the hands of Boyd. And they're able to work this across midfield to the 48. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
On second down, Cook. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Now they're going to be dealing with a 3rd and 7 as that one officially a loss of 1. Broncos football as we begin quarter number 2. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. From the gun on 3rd down, Rodgers being chased out left. That's caught inside the 20. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or two shy of the 10. That goes as a gain of 36 on 3rd down. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. He completes it to Boyd. And they've got this down to about the 12-yard line.
Oh, it's time to give a little credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line, but once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
Back to the ground, Cook. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11. Backed up here, tough spot, needing 11 yards to pick up the first. Now it's Rodgers. Looking for Landry, and it's intercepted. Buda Baker with a pick, and the Raiders are going to have it here at their own 15.
And when a team advances as far as they did, got over the 50-yard line, don't you think that drive deserved a better ending? I think he needs to get with his coaches on the sidelines, make some immediate adjustments, and that's what you do. You don't wait. You do it from series to series because drives like that end with a turnover, that's multiple times they picked him off already in this opening half.
A good start to the drive here as that's caught out on the left side. And they'll get it all the way up about 5 yards shy of midfield. That one nearly 30 yards, 29 officially.
But normally you see 3 tight ends in a formation. You have to think to yourself, this has got to be a run. And I know as a safety, when I saw that, I took an extra step or two towards the line of scrimmage. Instead, they threw the ball, and he found one of those tight ends for a very nice pickup.
The big play to start him out. Has him at the 45 already. Allen now looks to throw. That ball caught by Slayton. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. 24 yards to gain there. Another first down as well.
Not only have they completed a couple on this drive, but they peeled off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely. Great start. 2 nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? Throwing on first down is Allen. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by DJ Reed. And the Broncos are going to get this back to their own 34-yard line. So that potentially an important takeaway here in this second quarter.
Because what it does is give their offense a chance to put a drive together. They've got nothing on the scoreboard so far, so you have to think that they need something before the break. And now they have an opportunity.
And Rodgers intercepted a 3rd time. Tariq Woolen picks it. So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Throw right side, caught by O.J. Howard. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down. 2 yards left on second down from the 9. Up the middle they go with Mostert. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. Raheem Mostert, his second rushing touchdown on the year. And the Raiders have moved out in front by 3 touchdowns. Extra point good by Prater. And it's now 21-0. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back. But make sure you're selective in doing so. Understand where you want to throw the football and make sure it's open before the ball leaves your hands.
Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone.
This defense not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. It came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
From midfield, here's Rodgers. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
They certainly did a nice job improvising there, extending the play, hoping someone would come open downfield, but they never did.
So now 3rd and 10, a big play to start the drive, but nothing since. Shotgun now for Rodgers. And down he goes, brought down a Raider sack. Now the Raiders going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. On 4th down, on is Logan Cook to punt. Here's Smith to return it. That'll be a 43-yard punt, but a net of just 33 following a 10-yard return. And it'll be Raiders football, 1st and 10. The Las Vegas offense ready to start this next drive. And with a 3-score lead already, this is not time for a momentum change, so I'd imagine they'd be happy to just take this into the locker room. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. A really good pickup of 28 yards. So they fake the handoff. Now Allen. Open man downfield is Duvernay. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. Another big play here as they strike for 31. So after the big play, look at this, all the way down at the 15 now on 1st and 10. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And he will not throw it away. He goes out of bounds, well shy of the line of scrimmage, so that's a sack. A full 5-yard loss that time. It's going to make 2nd down pretty tough. To throw, it's Allen. Eluding the pressure right. And he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up 3rd down.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up, not that time. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Now Allen. Toward the back corner of the end zone, but he could not get the feet down. This will wind up incomplete.
Well, he'd been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
Prater's kick is good, and that will do it for this first half. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we send you to our EA studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report. The Raiders with the lead already, and they will get the football here as the second half is now underway. The Raider offense set to get this drive started. On play action, Allen. Open man is Duvernay. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. It's a first down, his fourth catch of the game after having 3 in the first half.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the third quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
Allen now on first down. That'll be caught. It's the tight end, Howard. And he will score. Touchdown, Las Vegas. O.J. Howard, 58 yards. And the Raiders come right out of the locker room and score here in the opening minute of the third quarter. Prater for the extra point, and the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. CD, they certainly know the hole that they face as they begin the second half. They have to do what precious few teams have done in NFL history. Let's try to come back from a 4-possession deficit.
And partner, you know, as that team gathers, they're saying to each other, you never say never, right? Because if you're on an NFL roster, that's how you have to think. You can always come back and win a ball game. And let's face it, we saw a certain Super Bowl, a 25-point lead late, that wasn't enough to put someone away. But that being said, this task is near impossible. Let's face it. And bottom line is, it officially becomes impossible if this possession is an empty one.
And now a hook up downfield on second down. And they work this well upfield across the 45. 23 yards the pickup there.
And time to give some credit to the big fellas, the offensive line here, because you've got to have good protection on crossing routes, because you've got to give your receiver time to work all the way across the field. That time, be able to scan the field, spot his receiver moving left to right, and make a good, accurate throw. Thank you, guys.
Throwing on first down is Rodgers. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked up by Xavier Howard. But to be blunt, not a whole lot has gone right for this defense in this ball game, but that's something right there. Still in the third quarter. It would take something around miracle territory for a comeback, but maybe that's a start, Charles.
It certainly is, and they're definitely showing that there's some fight still left in them. Hasn't been a banner day, but they're trying their best to put that disappointment behind them and find ways to make plays.
The offense for Las Vegas about set to begin the drive. And the football changing hands here, and as this offense takes the field, Charles, they'd be fine with more of the same on this upcoming drive. Last time out, they found the end zone for 6.
And they're certainly hoping for more of the same, but the game plan, I doubt it'll just be a carbon copy of the last drive, because I think this offense is ready to break out some new wrinkles and try some new things that might be hidden in their playbook. They want to use that confidence to its advantage, while also keeping the defense from anticipating what's up next.
They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. Play action. Now it's Allen. That's taken in. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. It's picked up by the Broncos. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops. These defenses have become so opportunistic, and no matter what you're playing, in this case wide receiver, you got to be careful.
You certainly do, because there is a phrase in today's football that we use all the time: completing the process of the catch. Well, it's after you do that where the trouble begins, right? Meaning you've tucked it away, you're trying to get downfield, but someone's always coming up trying to rake at the ball and knock it free.
Trying to fire up that running game with Dalvin Cook. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. When they're lined up in the 46 defense like that, running is just going to be a slog.
Especially if you're trying to run it in the middle of the defense. So what you're hoping, get a stalemate against the 3 across the front, and can you get some one-on-one blocks that you can win on the perimeter? To me, that's the best place to carry the football.
On 2nd down, it's Cook again. And slow going there as he'll only get a yard, maybe, up to the 41. Nice job there on the tackle. Keep him to the short gain. And, of course, he got some good news this week. He was named AFC Defensive Player of the Week from last week's effort.
And part of the reason he got that award, because of plays like that. Not every play is spectacular. Not every play is for a loss. Make the plays that are in front of you. Keep it to short.
And now here is another interception. Jeremy Chinn picks it off. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Raider defense delivers a score. Well, I mean, you get it. They're trying to make something happen here in this third quarter, CD, but I don't think a pick 6 is exactly what they had in mind.
No, not at all, because this offense, they've been stuck all game long. Haven't dented the scoreboard yet, and they're kind of forced to take a few chances here, and that one, it backfired in a big way.
And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25.